The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. There is no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk. Welcome to Grit and Gravitas with Ann and Annie, bringing you savvy, spirited stories of success. We're excited to deliver 30 minutes of inspiration, impact, and goodness. We'll be bringing you guests and friends from around the country who have very special work and personal journeys. I'm Deeter, Gallaher, your co-host with Annie Carnathan, and this is Grit and Gravitas. Let's go! Annie Carnathan, this is a big day. This is a topic I am so excited to dive into with you, and we have two amazing guests. This is our fourth episode in the Members First limited edition series of Grit and Gravitas, and we are in the Members First podcast studio.
They are flying by, ADG. Flying by.
And we're going to start this summer with some amazing conversation about women and intentional investing. We have Jacinda Weber and we have Kim Houck with Members First Investment Services. That sounds very sophisticated, ladies. Welcome to Grit and Gravitas.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Sure. Jacinda, give us a little background on Members First Investment Services.
Yeah, so really what we do here is we just help our members explore their options as far as their retirement savings. It can range from anyone who's just looking to start a small investment regardless of age, or anyone kind of approaching that retirement period and helping them cross over into that milestone. So it's a very broad range of services
First business
and products.
vitamin. I know it's early, but we take our vitamins.
Yes.
The first business vitamin is that at any age,
Yes.
have a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It doesn't matter the age you are to have a conversation with these two powerhouse women at Members First, one conversation at a time, one member at a time, and no matter what happens, you start with a conversation.
Well, I know we're going to dive into two generations and how they invest, but I love, starting small, starting early, Annie, to your point, with compounding interest, it's hard to make up that difference, but thinking about it, and I hope our podcast provokes that in younger people especially.
Right. Yeah.
I came to the investment game way later than I should have, but I love hearing that the services are there.
Yeah.
And you ladies are the only female investors with Members First Investment Services, right?
We are.
Right now?
Yeah. And I actually tell my clients that all the time. Like, time is the one thing you can't get more of in life. In
We all
many
have the
ways,
same amount, just
right? Exactly. We're all moving forward at the same pace, but time is one of those very powerful components that could, make or break that really great end result. And it's never too late. It really isn't.
Right, absolutely. Kim, talk to us a little bit about starting small, starting early. I feel sometimes women especially, we feel like, number one, we don't have all the answers. We don't want to sound stupid asking a question. And maybe we don't have $10,000 sitting around or $1,000 sitting around.
Sure. Yeah, carving out just a little bit per paycheck, it's amazing how that momentum of that compounding starts to happen, even just little tiny bits at a time. And then all of a sudden, a year, 2 years in, you go, wow, I saved that much.
Yeah.
And then that's going to just continue to grow and compound over the years, and it can create just such a nice nest egg. So it's not about having to start with a large dollar amount. It's starting where you're at.
Right.
And I don't think it's for a rainy day. To me, it's for your days, just to the point of time, right? It's a scarcity, and we all have the same amount of it, but there's never a bad time ever to save money.
Yeah.
Right.
And set it and forget it. That's the true thing, where do that and then go live your life with to me, a little more comfort in that.
Yeah.
From having that there.
And watching things like your 401k grow, like your confidence grows as well with that. So as you're seeing that number move forward, and you go through ups and downs, and you keep that right mindset, it's not right now money. It's later.
Well,
money.
that's a good business vitamin too. Saving for now is not right now money. Like
Yeah.
you do have
not
to
right now, yeah.
save it and forget it, and preferably, have it taken out of your check where you're not seeing it in there and seeing it come in and come out.
Yeah.
Where you don't even know
Sure.
that it's happening, and
Yeah.
that's really, it'd be great if we could all forget about it, but
Yeah.
and just let it compound away.
Well, they say pay yourself first, right?
Well, right.
And that's
Ooh, that's a good
really,
one.
really
And that's
important.
good for business owners too. I mean, I know that that's a principle. Do you work with a lot of women business owners or small business owners in general?
We do, yeah. So we definitely help set up small businesses with their SEP IRAs and their simple IRAs. Sometimes you're working with a large company that has a 401k, but then when you're spinning out and doing your own business, you don't want a 401k. You need to have a different type of retirement plan to plan for yourself and for if you're just have a couple of employees, set something up for them to have that benefit for them to keep them on board.
And I think you can't underestimate, just to your point, Ann, educating and conversations with you or members first. Every single member is a single member that someone is listening to
Right.
in a day.
Yeah.
And that's the relationship, the centric relationship part of the credit union. And that has to be part of that first step.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're so big at our organization about educating our members. Like, that's the biggest thing that we
That's great.
just share with
Yeah.
every associate. Like, the importance of having that awareness and education. Like, you can walk into any of our financial institutions and expect to learn something new. And, everyone has a retirement planning need. It's just not a
Well,
lot
that's
of
a
people.
good business vitamin too.
We're chock full.
Everyone has a retirement planning need, because I think sometimes I'll just generalize as women, we take ourselves out of that equation before we even had a chance to get in. If we feel we're starting too late, or we feel we don't know enough, or we feel we're not a CEO, so maybe investing, we all know that you can't live on Social Security alone.
Sure.
So even having that conversation with advisors like yourselves, who I think you look awesome, and we just met, and I would feel very comfortable having a conversation with you. I know we talk about confidence in women investing, but I think we bring a lot to the table of our own barriers to having that conversation. Is I don't know enough, I haven't researched.
And that happens all the time. People come in and they say, I don't really know why I'm here. I don't know where to begin. I'm like,
Right.
This is where you begin. We're just going to have a 1-hour conversation today about who you are, what your needs are, and come up with a plan to figure out where you need to go to get there.
So
We're
you're
not
really
doing any
diving down
investing.
to them as a person, as a business, as an employee, as maybe a business owner. You're not saying, tell me your name, birth date, and here's your first, investment portfolio.
It's a learning process.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what is the impetus for someone to make that meeting who isn't entirely committed? I mean, that's scary to me.
Yeah.
To go somewhere, sit down, little intimidation.
Okay.
Not really why I'm here, right? So how does that happen, that someone takes that step to get here, right? Because you have to be able to have a conversation to help anyone.
How do we end up in your offices?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, sadly, I don't think enough people out there know that we even exist.
Right.
Well, that's until
be
now.
honest.
Right. Right.
until Grit Gravitas plays out. This conversation.
Yeah. So, I mean, lack of awareness is preventing a lot of people from getting in front of us.
Yeah,
And,
good.
that's the barrier that we're always constantly trying to break down. Fortunately, we have branches that, see our members, recognize their needs, and have that conversation to get in front of us. But so many people don't walk into our branches or, don't call into our customer service. So there's a ton of members in our market that truly just need to know we exist.
So they don't know this resource is there for them.
Don't, and
Yeah, and the
That's huge.
website, we have a great website with a lot of information on
You
it.
do have
but
a great website.
yeah, getting to that website and then getting to the advisor in your particular area, and there's email addresses, phone numbers to get in touch with us, and that's, usually it's our current folks who are referring their friends and family.
Right. Well, that doesn't surprise me with Members First. I mean,
Right.
that's you guys are growing so robustly, and so knowing that you have these services available. And I'll just speak to my generation. We've got the boomers. You're going to have the largest transfer of wealth to guide people on.
We are.
And then
In history.
so it's like 85 trillion is going to be the transition, but women age 60 and over hold 8 trillion of that. So even educating, if you drill down, we need to educate everybody. But from where I'm sitting, drilling down women who statistically will probably outlive their spouse.
Sure.
And maybe they may or may not have had a seat at the table in the early days of, still a large percentage are not. And then so educating them, making them feel comfortable when they sit in your office, probably overwhelmed.
Yep, little bits at a time, absolutely. So that it is overwhelming at first, and people always say, I didn't know any of that. Well, no, that's not your job to know that. That's my job to educate you on that. So that
Amen
you can,
to that. And so you're very kind. You emit just much kindness, just first impression. And so how did you maybe get, just real quickly, to this calling? Really, because there's nothing
good.
almost more personal, but you're extremely approachable, both of you. Like I wouldn't feel badly about going, I have no idea what any of this is, and honestly, that's hard for some people
think that's the
know
biggest
what they don't
barrier.
know, right?
Yeah, I think it's the
so.
biggest barrier.
So can you both just give us a snapshot of how your journey is at this point now?
Sure. I started in 2004 in this business, so it's been quite some time. It wasn't where I expected to land. I was working as a summer seasonal teller at a bank while I was going to school. And it wasn't really my plan, but it just kind of spiraled from there. And
Evolved?
yeah, and it became, oh, wow, I can actually help people rather than, at that time I was, again, working as a summer seasonal teller. It was transactional, but I enjoyed talking to people and learning about their lives. And I thought, well, what can I do with my financial knowledge and also have these in-depth conversations? And so that's what eventually landed me to the credit union as well, because the credit unions mindset on how they help people, it really just
Changes lives, and you can feel the servant leadership in what you're saying, and that's extraordinary when people are living that integrated best of both worlds. You can feel that.
So my journey is actually sort of similar. I mean, I started also as a teller at this organization in college, with the intentions of, going out and pursuing.
So you started as a teller at Members First?
I did.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. And, I worked my way up through retail, and I actually remember being a branch manager and going to one of your events or your seminars, and you started off that.
There you go. It was, that's a friend circle.
Event Creek, and you started that off, and you said, do what makes your heart sing. And that quote truly really stuck with me my entire career.
That's awesome.
From that point forward. But during that time, I was actually trying to pursue a journey, with the investment services. I was the first internal associate that actually got licensed within our credit union. So, there was a barrier there.
Yeah.
But once I broke through that, it was, no stopping me. I wanted to just continue to dive more and more into the investment world and the financial world, because it's so intriguing and so interesting and so valuable. And
well, you can feel that, right? So to close that loop, your heart is singing, and you both have this servant leadership aura, because there's a difference to sort of trying to play the part and being the part, and the authentic part of who you are, and that wealth of knowledge here to just help people is extraordinary. And again, there's no expectation, and there's never a bad time to start.
No.
Right. Talk to us about the generations. So, are most of the people you serve, are they 50 and over? Are they 30 to 40? What's the demographic of who you're serving?
I think it really varies. I think it's easier for our associates to recognize that at age 60 to 65, even up to 70, there's a retirement need. It's more dire at that point.
More
because
immediate, right? More immediate.
there is
right,
If you're just
right.
recognizing, I'm your 60, you're probably, you got to pull out all the stops then.
Yeah, so we end up seeing a little bit more for individuals that are at that phase of life.
Right.
But what we see all the time are children, that are dealing with inheritance and funds that
That's
pass
a great,
from
that's a great
parents.
target audience.
So we have a variation of ages, but we normally see a demographic of more individuals that are really wanting to start planning and preparing.
Good.
That gets a little bit younger, so I'm excited to see that it's getting a little bit younger. We're starting to see more 50-year-olds that want to have those conversations, look over everything, discuss assets.
Good.
Because at that point, you are working your way towards, owning your home, and your debts are becoming a little bit more minimal. So it's easier to have conversations and planning around individuals that have these assets, and they're like, what do I do with them? And having, the plan earlier gets, that's extreme.
Well, I think knowledge is power, and the younger we can work with you and meet people like you and absorb all the guidance, the better, and the smarter decisions we can make. So, and I love the working with the children of your clients, now is educating them. And the goal is that they stay with you. A lot of times I know not all the time do women stay with the advisor that their husband had,
No, and I think there are life events that sort of topple any plan you had, whereby
Right.
maybe at one point it was a unit and now it's fractured. Right? Divorce is still at 50%.
Right.
And so that to me says there's never a bad time to just have a great relationship regardless.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's sometimes that are dire, there's sometimes where you just sort of go, I'm just so intimidated, lost. And I will sit here and say, I know what I don't know. And I'm advanced, right, in my career and in my life. And so I think there's just not any way to look into a crystal ball. And you need a partner for that.
Yeah.
You need someone that when you call is going to be there. And women largely need to be better educated. We go to the dentist, we go to the doctor, we do this, we do that, right? This is part of that, to me, necessity of taking care of yourself.
We do that, Annie, and we generally do it for sometimes in our age, 3 generations. So our parents were doing caregiving, we're dealing with ourselves, and you still have your parents living, and then our children, and it could be the grandchildren. So we're kind of in that sandwich generation of guiding and advising. But I think even for women and their, in their partnerships, having access to the knowledge, like understanding before you need that, okay, where are our accounts? What are the passwords? How do we know, what we need to know before you ever arrive in your offices, And sometimes women would rather be in labor and delivery than talk about money. Money is not, a lot of women do not want to talk about money.
There are just things in life you're taught not to talk about.
Yeah.
You're taught to not speak in a classroom, right? You're taught to, we don't talk about money, and that's a tough, almost DNA lizard brain thing to overcome. And again, that this is the part of just, there's no downside to talking to you.
Yeah,
None whatsoever.
Yeah, I've seen a huge shift in the past 20 years of how clients have come into my office with their spouses, and now women without their spouses just wanting to know their own information.
Well, that's great.
Yep, make sure that they have everything in place for their parents and for their children. And so I have seen a huge shift in that, but people still aren't going to work and chatting with each other about their money. So you do need the trusted financial partner for that, for sure. It's still just not part of, men will do it. Men will go to work and talk about their 401ks, how much did they lose, how much did they gain, how do they have a position. And women
That's an overshare.
don't.
That's too much.
I don't think I've ever heard women talk about that.
No, I was just going to say that illustrates, right, in real time, Kim.
Absolutely.
One of the big differences is women just, and look, like historically, that was for the man to do. And things have changed so drastically in that respect that the more we know as women, the more we can direct the life. And I'll just say to Ann, to the 3 generations, I feel pressure for that.
Yeah.
I do. I'm good. Like I'd love to save and have from the jump, many years ago now. And so, but I still think it's that unknown that's pressure. And if I didn't have the relationship I have, I just wouldn't feel Jacinda as comfortable and as confident.
Yeah.
Right.
And to Kim's point, like I'm starting to see more and more where, yes, the man is the breadwinner sometimes in the household, but the woman's actually starting to make the calls on where their finances sit.
Absolutely.
And I love that. It's amazing. And you're starting to see more of, you just do whatever you want to do. Okay. Well, because, the women tend to have the mindset where it's thinking about the kids or thinking about this or thinking about that. And nothing, towards the men, but sometimes they're just like, let's just work, make money, yep, I'm saving in my retirement, and who pays the bills?
It's Venus and Mars for a reason, and we just have different outlooks and different ways, to deal with things. And so I think it's 100% to me what those just outreaches are to talk to you. And here's the thing, we have husbands, sons, brothers, we love men. The podcast is really to help women, and this is such an important foundational aspect, is women's educational and finance foundation. And I think that there's nothing we can possibly do to understand what it's like to be women. You're both women, and so that's an enormous advantage for a woman to reach out. And it isn't that a man wouldn't be compassionate or a servant. Like, I'm not saying a single thing about men, but we're women and we're different.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the two of you make that onboarding or that first step much more comfortable.
And the goal, as we mentioned before we started recording, the goal of Grit and Gravitas is to shorten the learning curve of women. Now, I've got 3 sons, Annie has 1. Like, we do love men, and it's required listening in our homes. But they have to listen to every episode. But I am hoping, and I know from my own little in-person research, that people will listen to the podcast. They start to feel comfortable. It's their own little research. I just came back from Hills Creek State Park. Well, I Googled first to find out. I was looking for videos, like who put up on Instagram a video, and I found this couple. And they filmed the whole thing coming into the state park. So I had a familiarity before I arrived there. Right. The same with you folks, the same with Members First, that people will, especially women, will start, they'll be educated before they sit in your offices now. They might have better questions to ask, and they'll get a little better understanding of the resources available.
And we live in a world where like podcasts are becoming such an insight. Yeah, because you almost trust it more
Jacinda, you absolutely do. It's informational. It's really it's and our entire premise is the crux of doing this as servant leaders to pay it forward. And so we do have trust, we do have credibility, and if I sit here and say I would talk to the two of you any day of the week just to have a cup of coffee, to grab a quick bite, to there absolutely is no downside to talking and to making that first step to just know more.
I think we ought to start like money talks, coffee and money.
There you go.
Let's do it.
It's like the 21st century of AM radio, right? Where you listen, you're not putting the windows down, you're not Beyonceing it, or whatever. You're listening for opinions, information, news.
Information.
Yeah.
And now podcasts. And Ann and I literally stake our professional reputation to sit here and say, if it were Ann or I, we would absolutely want to talk to you.
Yeah.
We appreciate
So in that regard, it's a
Yeah.
huge sea change quickly, Jacinda.
Yeah.
Talking is the first step.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So for let's talk to business owners now. What do you find? Do you have any data on your services to them? Like, do you encourage them if someone has a business account that they come and sit before you and they start to get this information sooner than later? Because a lot is on the line for the business owner.
Absolutely. I see frequently where business owners have not saved for their own retirement.
Right. Well, so it's head down. They're in the trench the whole time.
Absolutely. So the sooner a business owner does get in and again starts just even that tiny bit every week, every month, and they start to get that motivation and they start to see that compounding, it makes a difference, and now all of a sudden it does become an important focus. But yeah, many times it is just a matter of, okay, I've got to get business done on a day-to-day basis.
Right, it's hard to set money aside.
Yeah.
You know, if you're looking at your P&L, you're thinking, oh,
Yeah.
you know, I don't have it for the marketing budget. I don't have it, you know, for HR or benefits. However am I going to do that? But I totally agree. You need to do that, whether you think you can afford that or not.
Yeah.
I think the time too, like business owners just find it difficult to like carve out the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much time.
Yes, we do.
Like let's just take a little bit of your time.
Yeah.
You know, we'll set everything up. We'll make it super easy, super simple.
Yeah.
Then you're in a structure, and then you can go back to forgetting
Right.
about paying yourself first. And
Well, and they're
you know,
going to look
creating
at
that.
you as the partner in that situation, just as if they have an attorney, they have an accountant.
Exactly.
You know, they have the credit union and they have their investment advisors.
Yeah, that's what I always say too. They'll say, I don't have time. I say, well, do you have time to meet with your lawyer?
That's good.
Time to go to
Business
the
vitamins.
dentist, you have time
you
to
have
go to the
time to go to
doctor.
the
You
dentist?
have
Business
to.
vitamin.
It's essential to me.
Yes.
You absolutely have to understand what that comfortable being uncomfortable
Yeah.
feeling is. And look, business owners who you I believe are extraordinary in funding dreams and changing lives. It's hand in hand with this aspect of it because they're fighting for their lives every day. They're looking at receivables, they're looking at what they're paying out, they're looking at running their business, and they're fighting for their lives in the deep end of the ocean. So there's just so many things you're already doing as members first that this is just one more extension, but it's essential to your point, Kim. They have to do it.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, you both shared some statistics, which were fascinating, I thought, on the markets have been a tinge turbulent lately. And I know that you will tell, you know, don't check your portfolio all the time, but there's those of us who do check our portfolio all the time. And we feel like we need a seatbelt, you know, like, oh my word. So talk to us a little bit about women and responding to panic investing or withdrawing.
So 50% of women, over 50% of women say that they're comfortable staying in the markets through that volatility, but they don't have the tools to get through it. So again, having that financial advisor to call up and say, am I okay positioned? Do I need to adjust my risk profile? So we see less women are panic selling compared to men. They are staying the course. I always say to people, the easiest part is to get out when the markets are volatile. The hardest part is to get back in. People always say, I'll get back in when they're better.
Then life happens.
And not only that, they've already been better before you get back in.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It can happen quick.
Yeah, the recovery is so fast that all of a sudden you say, oh, I feel better about it. Well, all right, you already missed, you missed the upswing from
So
it.
Kim, when you say tools, you mean your advisor.
Yeah.
Because don't give me a toolbox, right? Because and this is where you really have to have a trust and a confidence and truly
In a plan.
believe in someone doing this solely for you.
Yeah.
And what the goals are, what the long term, you know, short. It's I always at our company, it's a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, right? Where are we today? 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and that, always sort of that business plan is pulsing,
Yeah.
right? Because it's not anything. Someone should feel like they know more than you do. And it's a panic. No, nothing good comes from panic.
Right.
Period. Right?
Right.
I would agree that women do tend to stay more calm in volatility.
Yes.
And I think that's just us in nature, you know.
We're multitaskers.
Yeah.
We have a lot going
Yeah.
on at the same time, and it's just one thing. It's not the thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think historically that has served us well. You know, it's hard in the middle of the panic, or if you're checking your portfolio, it's hard to sit tight in that. So if your resources, Jacinda and Kim, are helping us sit tight, then we feel a little better. Like historically, we can say
Yeah.
we do know for every downswing there's an upswing. We want to stay there and take advantage of that
Right.
instead and maybe miss it altogether.
Yeah.
But
Having a financial advisor to have that conversation with, I would say, and I don't know the statistic around this, but it has to make people feel way more comfortable having that sounding board, because the people that do mostly panic aren't actually working with somebody. Right. They don't have somebody to call.
They're running a portfolio themselves.
They're making
Great point to say.
financial, emotional decisions around their money, and they truly should not be.
Because it's like a financial therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just need that check-in.
Yeah.
Right?
Because having my clients that have the plan, that have the time frames around their money, that we've discussed volatile markets, they're like, yeah, we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It always does. So,
Yeah.
you know, just having the advisor is truly the biggest thing to help you get through the comfort of that. Because it's uncomfortable. And
comfortable being very uncomfortable.
yeah.
And I think too, you have members first behind both of you. And look at the enormity of the ways in which members first, one member at a time, will serve that member based solely on where they are in the journey.
Yeah.
And life goals and what they're trying to accomplish. So there's an enormous powerhouse behind you, you know, representing what the best interests and intentions are for each member.
I think you said something that struck me. Don't make an emotional decision. So that could go for everything in business as well. I mean, that's a great business
that's
vitamin.
a tough one.
Yeah.
Don't make your investment decisions based on emotion.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do.
It's very easy.
Difficult to sit tight, but again, with the resources like you ladies, I think anyone, you know, working with you would be so well. So I feel like the decisions and the guidance you would give your clients is guidance that you would do yourselves, which is what the fiduciary responsibility is.
Absolutely.
You know, treat it as if it was your portfolio and guide us. And again, just focused on relationships, which is what Members First is. That is your, you know, your heartbeat.
Their mantra. Ladies, just like that. 30 minutes has gone by.
I want to keep going.
So
Yes, right. And hopefully you will, Jacinda, right?
Yes. Close it out. Where can, especially women, find you, but anyone who's interested in sitting down and having a conversation? Where could we easily find you?
Sure. I mean, go to our website, you know, talk to your
Is there
local
an investment
branches.
service drop down on the website?
There is a tab where if you click on our wealth management team, you'll get right to somebody that, you know, can speak with you directly in your market area. You even can kind of scroll down. I know I've had some people reach out too, and they're like, "You're a woman. I feel more comfortable."
Totally.
And,
Amen. And it's just, that's the comfort level. And we want people to be comfortable.
So, you know, talk to your local branches, ask them about sitting down with someone, go to our website, call into us. I mean, whatever you got to do.
Call the Members First 800 number, and somebody in customer service will.
Yeah.
Please just take that step.
Yep.
Ladies, anyone attached to ladies, please
Young ladies.
Yes, exactly
Yeah.
right. There's just never a bad time to start, and you're both just so warm and kind and delightful, and people are going to be better off from having spoken with you. And there's zero pressure. There's no like all we want to do is help women. Period.
And it could be a life-changing conversation.
It could. It normally
How
is.
you, how your future, you know, evolves. Jacinda and Kim, thanks so much for sharing the G&G Members First podcast studio with us. We can't wait to hear some stories from this episode and the changes that people are going to make because of what you've shared. So thanks for sharing your story.
You are delightful.
Thank you
Good
so much
luck.
for having us. This has
Yeah.
been fantastic.
Thanks for listening. It's our desire that these stories will bring energy, ideas, and fresh thinking that you can use today. Subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram, and have a high gear day.